I wanted to say some things about the importance and function of full-time retreat practice in the midst of organizing, participating in, and co-teaching at some retreats recently. It's extraordinarily rare in life to have an uninterrupted opportunity to completely give yourself to this experience right here. These sights, these sounds, these bodily sensations. And for nearly all of one's waking hours, and eventually developing the capacity to engage in this kind of inquiry, deepening, stabilizing in the midst of whatever necessary activities need to be taken care of, to have that opportunity to just dive in and get to grips with, or loosen the grip on what this is. Open question. So, to begin with, I think it's good for all practice, any practice, whether it's the beginning of a formal sit or at the beginning of a retreat or throughout, to have clear, to make clear, or at least to ponder a little bit what the aspiration is that's driving you to practice, to sit, to walk, to engage in whatever practices, methods, ritual, whatever it may be that you're drawn to. Could be along traditional religious lines, the liberation of all sentient beings, radiation of loving care and compassion, release from the bondage of cyclic existence. Maybe it's not so formed or formulaic as that. Maybe there's just an ache and urge to get down to the bottom of what this life is, why there's discontent, suffering here, or curiosity. What's possible, really, with this mind and body? How deep does the rabbit hole go? And to touch into that, remember that at the beginning of a formal session of practice, at the beginning of a retreat, to refresh that. Might be connected to vows, something formal or not, but it helps to get that clear at the outset. And as we turn to diving in, moment after moment after moment, hour after hour, day after day, perhaps week after week, there's a kind of balancing that needs to happen between ease and diligence application. Almost all of us, we are super saturated and overstimulated by myriad things every day. And that kind of accumulated stress on the nervous system, it can take days even for that to lift a little, for your nervous system to just settle from all of that agitation. So allowing, relaxing, easing, being comfortable in body and mind, just being right where you are and nowhere else. Letting that pendulation between past and future settle, which happens naturally without the barrage that most of us are accustomed to. It also is hastened with skillful application of method, mindfulness of breathing, mindfulness of bodily sensations, any technique you like. And also, there can be a kind of skillful urgency. There's no guarantee that an opportunity like now, like today, like any time spent on retreat will come again. It's not it's not for nothing that teachers and texts encourage the contemplation of death, of mortality, that this breath, this could be it. There's no guarantee. This bite of food, this step, this sit, this day. So before death comes, good to good to get clear on the death list. And that can inspire a real urgency, a fervent application of effort in method, homing in, grounding down. So let that fire be stoked and don't entertain discouragement. There's no doubt that if you got a body and mind, you can follow some basic instructions, tie your shoes. If you can read, you can do this. Hell, I mean, literacy isn't a prerequisite. Look at the sixth patriarch of Zen in China. Myth goes anyway. He was illiterate when he heard a fragment of the Diamond Sutra recited aloud, and something opened. Some things fell away. And he carried on with training and actualization from there. And something that a phrasing of what retreat is good for that I very much appreciated from Shugen Roshi, the abbot of Zen Mountain Monastery. Why wake up so early? Why sit so many long hours? Why kind of grind away at practice? I mean, the grindiness that actually comes from us. It's not the forms. It's not the practice. That's not what grinds. That's all coming from us actually. But why do we do this? Why do we remove the opportunity to do anything really but practice, or kind of trip out in distraction? Why do this? And for liberation, firstly, but as practitioners, if we're already practitioners oriented towards liberation in this lifetime, we practice in that kind of intensive container to make actual to ourselves the possibility of practicing like that all the time, on retreat, off retreat, sitting, walking, shitting, taking care of chores, having a conversation, making love. No difference. And you can start to get a real taste of that in the momentum of retreat as everything settles and you gain a momentum in samadhi. Body and mind integrate, settle, stabilize. Things become malleable, pliable, bright, vivid, clear. Fresh wind rising with every step, so that you know without doubt for yourself this is possible. Living life this deeply, this completely. It's not a notion. It's not something you've heard or read. You've done it. You've lived it. You know it in your bones. carrying that out with you everywhere. That's why. And on retreat, there's the possibility, finally, of making a definitive break with conditioned patterns of seeing. Off retreat, too. Doesn't have to be on retreat, but there can be breakthroughs, breakings open, breakings down often as well. And just as you know, it's possible to live life with that kind of intimacy, profound non separation, contact, depth, vibrance. You know what you are. You know what this is. Don't need to imagine or fantasize or postpone or plan or delay freedom because you know your own mind's nature. And then your life becomes that, the fulfillment of that. So that's what I wanted to say about retreat. Take care. Be well.